What's up, guys? It's your host, Derek Thomas here. Welcome back to the channel. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today's video, we're going to be covering Black people are fed up with Latino racism. Black people are fed up with Latino racism, episode one. So there might be multiple episodes. Please like the video um, to get more episodes on the channel. But anyway, the reason why this topic really captured my attention is because I'm black, and I live in Colombia. So I guess you could say I would be a credited candidate for this topic, and also my wife is black as well too. She's Afro Latina. We're both black people. We're both African people. However you want to distinguish the Negroid race, but and before anybody's like your wife is not Latina. Let me show you a picture of my wife. Let me share a picture of my wife before we begin. Because when people think of Afro Latina, they haven't they more think of like, like the mulatto look, I guess you say, with the long curly hair, kind of like how some of the women look in Brazil. This is a picture of my wife. I'm only going to share this one time. There we go. That's a picture of my wife right here. We the same skin color. Yes, my wife is she's from Colombia. She's from Medellin. We're like the same skin color. So before anybody tells me your wife is not black, that's a picture of her. But anyway, let's dive into the video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Donate to the Cash App so I can get you guys more videos, better quality content, and also this StreamYard logo over here in the corner. Let's donate to the Cash App so we can get a custom logo. But enough talking. Let's begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A specific type of Latino, Latina, Spanish speaking person. I have a question. And I'm not going off what I've heard, I'm going off what I've seen. Why do you feel that it's okay to hate black people, especially black men, and imitate black men? Some of y'all use the N word more than I do, yet you hate black people, yet you constantly imitate black culture. Please answer this question.
I think I might be able to answer this question. When you say Latinos, that is a very broad spectrum. I'll start by saying that. Because as you can see, my wife, she's Latina, and look how dark she is. Look how dark she is. I could be out here in Colombia, I could find somebody that looks just like somebody in Detroit, and they're Latino. I could go to Panama and find somebody that looks like somebody in South Central LA, and they're Latino. So when you say Latino, it's a big spectrum. It's a big spectrum. You got to be a little bit more
You see,
specific.
so a lot of black people are now waking up to Latino racism. Because remember, before they was only talking about white supremacy and stuff like that. Now, a lot of black people, even some of these channels, these popular channels, they starting to speak on Latino racism towards black people.
Does Mexico have black people? Indeed, they do. There are over 1 million black Mexicans here in Mexico. Most of them are going to be found in Guerrero and Oaxaca in the coastal part, Costa Chica. Today we are in Coyantes, and here it says, "Welcome to a Afro-Mexican village." African slaves in Mexico were brought to work in silver mines, plantations, and domestic work. But in this case, mainly they were brought to work on cotton farms, sugar plantations, tobacco, and chili.
Why is every immigrant that comes to America find their way into the black community to build their empire, their American dream on the black nightmare? So we have got to change that reality.
¿Qué? Sí. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué estás buscando? ¿Qué? Okay.
How are
Well, to answer that question, what Louis, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was saying, because we allow it, we don't do anything for it. People, they come into our neighborhoods in the U.S. Indians, they own gas stations. The Chinese, they have their food, and we consume whatever product they produce. We allow it. Simple as that. We don't do anything about it. That's why it's so easy for them to do that. Imagine if they build imagine if the Chinese comes into the black community and build a Chinese restaurant. Have a Chinese restaurant. Everybody in the community is predominantly black. Imagine if we take a stand and we're like, you know what, we're not going to eat there. You think they'll be able to do business there? You think they'll be able to you think the business will be able to stay afloat? No. They would have to relocate. They would have to go somewhere else. Indians come into the community, have their gas station. Imagine if we're just like, nah, we're not going to go to your gas stations. We're not going to go to your gas stations. You think that Indian that has a gas station will be able to stay, or that Pakistani will be able to stay in the community if we don't support whatever they produce? No. And granted, when we decide to do that, we have to make sure we have our own shit to supply. Remember, the black dollar, black people in the US, we're how can I explain it? Black people in the US, we have to create our own things for us to support, essentially. Um we're not economically inclined because the black dollar does not stay in the community for long. But if we create our own shit, it can stay and float within the community a lot longer. We don't do anything when the Chinese, Indians, Pakistanians, Koreans, whoever come into the neighborhood.
immigrants living off black Americans? Please tell me. A lot of immigrants, including undocumented ones, come to this country with nothing, literally nothing. And yet their tax contributions to this country is still greater than that of black Americans. While Americans in general are waiting for handouts talking about being oppressed because their college tuition isn't paid for, you got immigrants from all over the world, from every race, coming to America being more successful than the average American simply because they're not waiting for handouts. They're happy with just the ability to work. Most immigrants are just looking for an opportunity and they make the most of it.
especially with the
And she's right. She's right. If you guys want to check out my video on my page, FBA caller calls into the Fresh and Fit show and tells Fresh and Fit that they're not black. And that's ridiculousness. That's just idiotic. That's just idiotic. And I said this on that same video. There are immigrants coming to the United States, undocumented immigrants with with 50 bucks in their pocket that are coming to the United States, and they are running laps around Americans, especially black Americans. They're not sitting there and waiting for reparations, a handout. They're coming here, they're clicking up in their communities, and they're building and they're creating jobs for themselves. Ain't nobody want to listen to me because I'm not FBA.
history between Mexican or Latino people in America versus black people. It's been a violent history in America that's largely unspoken about outside of like the streets. And I don't understand it why it's so unspoken about. They try to do this whole like black and brown thing, like this black and brown unity thing that they just like force and try to act like actually exists, but it doesn't exist and it never exists. There's never been a unity. It has been a violent relationship
with Black people in America and Latin American people. Not just in America, the islands also. You know, the Dominicans versus the Haitians. It's just everywhere that Black people and Hispanic or Latino people live within close proximity, there's high violence between the two, okay? And especially in Southern California, New York City also.
Comparing black
Bro, I'm not even worried about the conflict between Latinos and black people. I worry about the conflict between black people and black people. We bring down ourselves more than anybody else brings down us, and that is a fact. That's a fact. I'm not worried about Latinos. I'm not worried about white people. I'm not worried about the Asians. I'm not worried about the Indians, Pakistanians, Italians, Japanese, whatever. I'm worried about black people. I'm worried about African people because we bring down ourselves more than any other group does.
women to monkeys in 2023 is old and played out. Vayan, cojan un plátano y súbanse en una mata. ¿Ok? Cu, 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 cu. ¿Ok? Yo soy blanca. Tú eres negra. ¿Te recuerda algo? I already made this video in Spanish, but I'm making it again in English because this video needs to reach more people. It needs to reach the right people. Blatant racism is normalized in Latin America, but I truly hope that this video will reach people who will get her account banned. She has 3 accounts that I know of, but I'll keep y'all updated if I find any more. Ustedes ven el mundo diferente, por eso viven en la pobreza y en la mediocridad. Yo soy blanca, yo estoy en Estados Unidos, soy ciudadana, tengo papel hace muchos años, vivo en un lugar muy espectacular, corazón, para yo fajarme con ninguna quincona de ustedes. This lady is literally flexing her white privilege and the fact that she lives in the United States. Lighter-skinned Latinas like the lady in this video, who benefit from white privilege in Latin American countries, then come to the United States and are subjected to the same anti-Black and anti-Indigenous rhetoric from actual white people. Mind you, this is the same exact rhetoric that they spew towards Black and Indigenous people. And then they complain. Black people are disproportionately affected by white supremacist systems literally built to put them at a disadvantage. And that's the reason why they don't have the same access that this lady has living in the United States. And even though she has this access to resources and education, she is still one of the most uneducated and classless people I've ever heard speak in my life. Like I said, I already posted this video in Spanish. The lady from the video saw it, blocked me, and then proceeded to post a very colorful TikTok story, basically calling Black people the most sensitive group for reacting to her blatantly racist video. I am not addressing this video to that lady directly. I am rather addressing this video to TikTok users and TikTok moderators who blatantly suppress anti-racist and educational content, but let stupidity like hers fly. Why is that okay? And why does that type of content thrive here on TikTok?
First thing is we can't platform her. You posting her on your page because of her idiotic comments and her idiotic rhetoric against black people is platforming her. Is platforming her. We can't do that. All you got to do is report it. It's TikTok. Report it. It's Instagram. Report it. Because once you put her on your story, put her through your reels, put her on your YouTube, you expanded her video. Now more people can view it. We don't want more people to view it. We just want to stop it where it is. We want to kill it where it is. We don't want it to press further. So you putting it on your platforms, even though you're trying to get her banned or get her removed off the platform, which that can all be done by reporting it. If a whole bunch of people mass report it, yeah. But there's no need for you to put her and give her the attention that she honestly doesn't really deserve. That's how it is. I mean, that's the honest truth. That's how you do it. That's how these other groups are doing it. They're you know what? I ain't gonna even put her on my platform. I'ma just report her. Let's all report this. Let's all report her page. Let's all report her page. Report it, report it, report it. TikTok sees there's a mass report on what's going on. You put your discrepancies through TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. They take her off the platform. Easy like that.
Atenção. Olha, eu vou falar uma coisa do tempo da minha avó, que já dizia para minha mãe,
That's true.
olha, é bom ter que achar branco para se casar.
That's 100% true. What she was saying, because the words are a bit small, what she was saying that in Brazil, they had a point of time where they were telling darker Brazilians to marry white to lighten up the race. To lighten up. You can't make this up.
E isso continua até hoje.
There's a painting called The Rejeição de Campo. And the painting portrays the actual story of Brazil. So you have a picture of the dark, black-skinned grandmother. She has her hands in the air. Next to her, seated, is her mulatta daughter. She obviously had a relationship with a white man, so her daughter is progressively lighter skinned. Next to the mulatta daughter is the Portuguese immigrant. He's white. And in the mulatta daughter's arms is the white son. So after 2 to 3 generations, the blackness of the family has completely disappeared. And so the black grandmother is giving thanks to God, like, thank you for moving this black stain from my family.
Que a minha família,
And that's honest, true history as well too. That's honest, true history as well too. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. And my brother that's out here in Colombia, he asked that same question when we were just chilling with my wife's family. Is that a thing out here in Colombia too? And it was a thing out here in Colombia too. It was a thing in Latin America to marry somebody white to lighten up your race. Insane.
falei, daqui uns anos não vai ter mais ninguém
Because you keep saying we, and it's like your kind of connection with the black community, but you're Cuban. Like
I'm black first.
Yeah.
I'm black first.
So
What
I was
I
gonna
always
ask,
tell
like,
people,
how you identify
but
yourself.
are you full Cuban? I'm full Cuban. I thought
Yeah.
he was black too.
I know,
but I am black.
No,
I am
here's
black.
See? See? That's
everyone thinks.
Are you full Cuban? Yeah, I'm full Cuban, but he could be black too. My wife is full Colombian and she's black.
That you are like
Okay,
your
so
black lineage,
all right, so let me explain how it works. This is another thing that I feel like we as black people get caught up in, that
semantics.
That separates us as opposed to uniting us.
Exactly.
We get caught up in where the ship dropped us off versus where the ship picked us up.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? We all come from the same root. It's just a tree with different branches. The same boat that picked up your ancestors picked up my ancestors. Only they
Go watch that video with the FBA caller that called into Fresh and Fit saying that Fresh and Fit is not black. And if you don't know what FBA is, that's foundationally black Americans. Bro, foundational, like I'm gonna say this. I said this before, I'm gonna say this again. These foundationally black Americans are lost. If you're out here identifying as a foundational black American, you're lost, bro. You're lost. You're the reason why black people can't work together.
Drop yours off here. They made a pit stop in the Caribbean and dropped mine off.
Mm-hmm.
But my ancestors still dealt with slavery.
Facts.
Still dealt with being, having their family and their lives ripped from them and having to come back from colonialism and slavery. So, and it's not just African Americans, it's Afro-Cubans, it's Afro-Dominicans, it's Afro-Puerto Ricans. Like, all these people got to get out of their colonialized minds and stop thinking, oh, I'm not this, I'm this. Okay, yeah, you can be Latin, but you're black first.
And the separatism that takes us apart when we all have the same struggle. We all experience the same
100%.
struggle.
Because when I walk into a room, they ain't thinking, oh, we're going to give him a pass because he's Latin.
Yeah.
Or if a cop pulls me over, he's not like, oh, okay, I'm not going to shoot him or I'm not going to beat his ass because he's Cuban. No, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? And I'm dealing with the same struggle. So we all gotta unite and fight for the struggle together because we're all dealing with the exact same.
Exactly.
And this problem that we have in black communities with Latinos, Indians, and Arabs discriminating against black people, That will never stop because their racism is based on genetics, okay? Your race, your ethnicity, and how you look, skin complexion, hair.
Well, I don't know about India. Go watch that last video. Go watch my recent video that I posted with sewer diving in India and Pakistan. India has a whole caste system, and the lighter you are, the better your life is, and the darker you are, the the less privileges you have, the shittiest jobs you have. No pun intended, because it's talking about this dude diving into sewers to clean to unclog sewers. But go watch that video. So in India, yeah, they all Indian, but there's still racism against
Texture,
their own people.
eyes, nose, lips. That's what their racism is based upon genetics. It has nothing to do with your personality. And the reason for this is because they don't deal with the good black people. When have you seen a group of Latinos, Indians, and Arabs hanging out with a good black person who speak well, educated, has a good career, not out there being a thug in the street dude? That never happens. White people
Me, I'm out here hanging out with Latinos out here in Colombia. I guess I'm considered a good black person.
deal with good black people. That's how you know they're not going by your color and your race. And these other three are.
Boyfriend, he was from Mexico. We would talk on the phone and stuff like that, and his mother knew me. He didn't tell his mother that I was black. She asked what my name was. Oh, her name is Chloe. Oh, she's such a pretty name.
That's
Can't
where
wait
you
to meet her.
fucked up.
And she just, the look, I will never forget that look. Like, I went to the bathroom and I started crying because I was like, she hates me. That following week, Christian said he couldn't talk to me anymore. And I was just like, why? I just.
Hey, black people, stick together. Black men marry black women. Black women marry black men. I stay together. Stay together. And that's one reason why is like, no offense to anybody that, you could love whoever you want to love, but I just I just would not want to go through through any type of subliminal racism or any type of issues with other families from a different race and whatnot. And I've dated women from different race. I'm not gonna cap you. I've dated women from different race, but once it was time for me to get married and to procreate, it had to be a black woman. No if, answer, but it had to be a black woman. Yeah, I could go fuck around and go date Asians and white people and white Latinas and all that stuff like that. But when it was time to get to the business and marry and create a family, it had to be a black woman. That's just me. That's just me. Don't kill me for, matter of fact, fuck y'all. It's because I had to. It's because I had to.
Don't like you anymore. And I was just like, okay. As we grew up
I
and I
shouldn't
changed
need to
school
feel
districts, I
bad
found out that
for
it was the same
my
thing,
options
like
or what
everywhere,
I
you
want
know?
to choose.
There's a phrase that we use. It is very common in Latin American countries. The phrase is mejorar la raza. Okay, mejorar la raza means improve the race. The way for us in Latin American countries to improve the race is by whitening it. When he brought this black woman with,
And as black people, we should be the opposite. The way to improve the race is darkening it. Make it black. Make it black. Make it black. Make it black. I'm sorry. I get this from my dad. I am not prejudiced against any other race. I don't. I don't, because let's be real. Asians do the same thing too. Asians be out in the US, the Chinese be out in the US messing with all these white women. But when it's time to get married and procreate, their mom is like, all right, you going back to China. I need for you to go find a Chinese woman. Same thing for the Latin culture too. These white Latinas, they out here messing with black dudes and these and all that stuff like that. I mean, yeah, some of them may get married to a black man. Some of them maybe, end up with a black man, but most of them is like, all right, cool. It's time for me to go find a Jorge. I'm being real. I'm being real.
bad hair, you are not improving. You're worsening. You're degrading. You're downgrading our race. You're disrespecting our race because we're supposed to lighten it. If you get with a white woman, preferably, chances are that our next generation is not going to be as dark. It's going to be lighter. Hopefully, blue, green eyes. Oh my God. And the more that we get with each generation with lighter skinned people, the more we improve the race. That is so common in every single Latin American country, in every Spanish speaking country. Mejorar la raza, it is a thing. Like,
Amor, ¿qué es mejor a la raza? Sí, mejor. ¿Qué es? Sí, ven. Ok, no en cámara, pero acá. Entonces, ellos.
Una mujer
Ujú,
negra tiene una relación
ujú.
con un hombre blanco o un hombre negro
Negro.
tiene una relación con una mujer blanca. Entonces, sus hijos salen más claritos.
Ujú.
Mejorar la raza.
Ah, sí. Ok. Estúpido, sí. Gracias. As you can see, you heard what my wife said. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Can't make this up. It's very idiotic. It's very stupid. But as black people, I think we should do the opposite. I say that we should darken the race. Bla- Darken the race. Just I'm hoping my kids come out purple. I want my kids to be
the
purple.
Nigerian in the video who said he wants a white woman because he wants white kids. You see, a lot of white women today, they feel so attractive because of all the attention they get from brown and black men.
That's
But what they
facts.
don't realize is that when we, as brown and black men in this particular case, we suffer from internalized racism. We hate our skin. A person who hates themselves, who hates their reflection, can't love somebody else. So don't feel so beautiful when a brown and black man is looking at you and is desiring you because, like the Nigerian guy said, when I asked him, why do you want a white woman? Because I want white kids. You see, he didn't mention anything about a woman's attributes, no passion, no nothing. His reason for wanting a white woman was, I want to eradicate my own race. You are only worth.
He ain't say that. He just said he wanted white kids. The same way why you wanted a black wife? Because I want black kids. I want black kids. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have you can love and you could be with whoever you want to be with. And I ain't trying to be I'm not no Dr. Umar or anything like that. You could be with whoever you want to be with. That's the beautiful part about being human is just the f- the f- the freedom of just doing whatever you want, the freedom of free thought, the freedom of free thought. But if you're gonna go out there and you're gonna intermingle with other races and whatnot, be prepared for be prepared for racism, be prepared for discrimination, be prepared for somebody in their family to not rock with what you got going, and you can't feel bad about it. You just got to stand 10 toes on it. You got to stand 10 toes on it, straight up. But that was a great video, guys. I mean, my wife came and she explained that term in Latin America. So shout out to her. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is your host, Derrick Thomas. Peace.